Originating back in the 17th century, the institution of organized crime grew over time from small local robberies implemented by minuscule gangs to networks of mob leaders stretching across entire continents. It began with bands of pirates who took advantage of increased maritime and trade activities of the 1600s. Their frequent seizing of cargo found on merchant ships on the small but numerous ports off the coast of several countries were the first actions. This alarmed leaders enough to consider the threat of local and eventually transnational organized crime. By the late 19th century, organized crime had mushroomed into a threat larger than ever before. It wasn't just robberies or local gangs anymore, but also gambling, prostitution, bribery, extortion, and many other forms of widespread criminal activity that changed the course of history socially, politically, and economically. The new and intimidating institution flourished, especially with the vibrant success of industry and capitalism. The migrations of various groups of people to newly formed cities and the population shifts that occurred from them, as well as the many cyclical revolts, collapses, and reform attempts, such as the Great Depression, that inspired the creation of underground crime and black markets, which continue still today to exploit industry and capital on an illegal and destructive basis. By the time the 20th century dawned, several countries, namely the United States, many regions in Southwest Asia, the Soviet Union, and Italy, had grown in both government and business, increasingly aware of the implications that organized crime groups could have on entire economies and markets. With this knowledge, however, came even more corruption, as crime bosses began to lure government authorities and business owners with bribery and extortion. This activity continues on today as well. Many people believe that organized crime has largely dissolved or is not a serious threat to our current society. Unfortunately, this is the opposite of the truth. The institution of organized crime, utilizing today's modern technological innovations as well as cultural shifts, has only grown even more dangerous. Instead of extorting local businesses, organized crime has grown into a multi-billion-dollar industry. Today's organized crime appears in the form of drug cartels, human trafficking, illegal weapons trade, and the exploitation of entire economies. We can most definitely see how these groups remain a serious threat. Although we as a society have yet to secure a definite means by which to defeat existing criminal organizations, or to prevent the formation of such in the future, we have developed an effective and widespread network of nations around the globe to help combat this threat. The UNODC, or the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, works to strengthen defense through conventions such as the UNOTC, or the United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime, which was established in 2000. It is the first of its type and is largely a step in the right direction, as it encourages international cooperative effort between world leaders today to stay aware of and provide defense against organized crime. Together, these nations work to improve the security and well-being of the lives of individuals in their own lands, as well as that of those in other cooperating regions. As an everyday citizen, the best weapon you possess against this global threat of organized crime is awareness. Armed with this, you can spot illegal activity and know the signs of organized crime when those around you cannot. Having a nation, even networks of nations, armed with knowledgeable and alert citizens can strongly help combat the threat of transnational organized crime.